So, und jetzt muss ich Friedrich Merz loben. Aber nur ein kleines bisschen. Ja, echt. Ich muss es machen, weil hat was Gutes gemacht. Was kann ich sagen? It's true. It's true. Friedrich Merz has done something that could be pretty good. But that's why I'm only going to praise him a little bit. So, we all know he went to Ukraine over the weekend, right? Now, the first thing that I want to say about that is it's a little bit crazy that within a couple of days of becoming the new chancellor of a country, your first priority is to go to another country to talk about solving their problem, right? When we've got a shitload of problems here in Germany that definitely need some taken care of. So it's a little bit odd that Friedrich Merz would make it one of his first priorities to go to Kiev and talk to Zelensky. Now, that being said, guys, it is looking like Friedrich Merz is changing his position on Ukraine. It's looking like Friedrich Merz is getting more in line with the Donald Trump version of what's going to happen next with this war. And that means it's going to be, negotiations, peace talks, diplomacy is what that's called. And before now, Friedrich Merz did not seem like he wanted to go the diplomatic route. He was talking about, Taurus rockets and fuck Donald Trump and his crazy ideas, and we just can't let Putin this and we can't allow Putin that. And we heard all that shit. Now all of a sudden, dude is in fucking Ukraine with Keir Starmer. Also strange because Keir Starmer is not part of the EU anymore, but apparently, when he agrees with them, then he's all right. You know what I mean? He's all right. They'll use him. And so they went to Kiev, and now they're talking peace. They're talking, for the first time since this war has started, you've got European politicians, and surprisingly, including Friedrich Merz, that's sitting there talking about peace in Ukraine. No more shooting, no more killing. That's new. Now, that's very good, right? It's very good. It's very good that they are focused on diplomacy instead of further escalating this conflict by allowing Ukraine to shoot crazy Taurus rockets onto Moscow and all this nonsense that these Europeans have been talking all this time. So that is a refreshing step in the right direction. But don't get it fucking mixed up, people. Okay? It's a step in the right direction, but not because Friedrich Merz thinks that's the right thing to do. Something will benefit him politically, or he has no political other choice to do this, right? So let's put it like this. Donald Trump is basically NATOism is basically being run by the U.S., right? And right now the U.S. is being run by Donald Trump. Donald Trump wants the killing in Ukraine to stop. He wants them to come to a deal. He also wants Europe to be more prominent in taking care of the problems that concern it, instead of constantly leaning on America for, help and support and money and weapons and military and clout and whatever. You know what I mean? To do those things for them. That's what Donald Trump wants. And suddenly Friedrich Merz is doing what Donald Trump wants. Well, that could have a couple of reasons. One could be that Friedrich Merz has had a talk with somebody in America, or maybe even here in Germany, and they told him, dude, you can't just you can't be this dependent on America for all kinds of stuff, for trade, for military support, for weaponry, for everything, right? And then treat them like the redheaded stepchild and fucking piss on them because Donald Trump is leading them. That's not going to work. You will lose that fight. I think something like that happened to Friedrich Merz, right? Now, also, the likes of Friedrich Merz and Keir Starmer and them and the Europeans don't want the deal-making result, if it's positive, to go to Donald Trump. They want to do it. The Europeans want to be able to say, we negotiated a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine, and we did it because we are the shit, right? That's what they want, right? Just like Trump wants to be the one that ends up negotiating the deal, even though I think Trump is less concerned if it just happens, right? But the Europeans really want to, prove themselves. So it's great that Friedrich Merz is changing his position and going for peace instead of threatening, right? But the way Friedrich Merz talks about it is about that Trump agreed to a 30-day ceasefire deal, and that Putin has to agree with that, so that the negotiations and diplomatic talks can start. Well, but that's where they go wrong again, right? That's the crazy thing, okay? Friedrich Merz is basically saying what the Europeans have always been saying, is they are like spoiled, bratty teenagers that want to be able to demand that Putin does A, B, C, or D. The Europeans are not in a position militarily, monetarily, and they're in no position to dictate to Russia what it must do and what Putin will do and when he's going to do it. That's not going to work. That only works with other European countries that have no spine and allow themselves to be pushed around by their counterparts. You know, that's the Friedrich Merz negotiation tactic, right? Just let yourself get pushed around and give up everything, right? And you can't be that pushover of a person in negotiations with your own people and then be believable to Putin when you say you will stop the weapons, and before the weapons stop, we will not have any negotiations. You're not in a position to dictate that, right? So now they went there and said they want to negotiate, but only if Putin agrees to the ceasefire. Well, then Putin reacted by saying, I want to speak for the first time since the war started. I want to speak to Zelensky directly, and I'm willing to start talks with Zelensky in Istanbul. Let's go back to the Istanbul deal before this whole thing started. Let's start from there, right? Which is amazing. And not only is it amazing, it shows that everybody was right all along about this Boris Johnson fucking Biden tag team shit that stopped the negotiations in Istanbul the first time before the invasion started, right? Everybody on my side of this said, oh, well, we could have stopped this war if Boris Johnson and fucking the U.S. wouldn't have gotten involved in telling Zelensky, don't accept this, we're going to fight, we're going to arm you to the teeth, we're going to fight, don't fucking go for this, right? And now Putin's saying, no, I would have gone for that. Let's go there. Let's start from there. So instead of being like Trump's reaction was, okay, go now, talk as fast as possible. Zelensky agreed to it. But you've still got the Europeans going, trying to get Zelensky to not go. No, we can't start talking to Putin yet until he agrees to the ceasefire first, because he has to do what we say. It doesn't matter that you get a good result. No, it matters to the Europeans, once again, this nitpicky fucking childish behavior of we're not going to accept it. We're not going to accept any talks until a ceasefire has been accomplished and Putin goes for it, because we say so. Look, that's not even up to y'all. That's up to Putin and Zelensky. Zelensky agreed. Putin agreed. Let's see if it happens. If it happens, it's fucking great. Will it have happened because Friedrich Merz and his three dudes went and pushed for this? Maybe a little, and that's great. Either way, it's like I said, it's great that Friedrich Merz has changed his tune about Ukraine. But don't get it fucking mixed up that he did it because of any correctness that that's the right thing to do or anything like that. Because something has happened that we don't know about that has made Friedrich Merz change his tune, or it's going to benefit him politically one way or another. Right? That's why he changed his tune. Doesn't matter though. He changed it. Right? So now he is betting on peace. But if he says to Zelensky, and I don't know if it's Merz doing this, but I know there's some people in these negotiations that are trying to get the Zelensky to not fucking have talks with Putin on Thursday, right? Until first Putin has to agree. And I heard Friedrich Merz kind of say that too when he gave a statement while he was there, right? He kind of said that. He kind of said, yeah, well, it's up to Putin now to agree to a 30-day ceasefire, and then we can start the talks. That sounds to me like Merz is dictating to Putin how these peace talks are going to start come about. But see, Merz does not decide that, right? And I'm pretty sure that the U.S. will warn the outlier politicians that are now going to try to be the devil in Zelensky's ear and try to tell him, no, first we have to get this ceasefire done, right? And then you can go negotiate. Zelensky, I thought Zelensky was an autonomous guy who, handled his own country. Well, he doesn't need Europe telling him what he can and can't accept and what he can and can't do. Stay the fuck out of it. If they've now agreed to have a talk, stay the fuck out of it. If you wanted to do something to negotiate peace, you could have done it a long time ago before Donald Trump was even ever elected president, and then you would have got all the credit if we would have done it and he made a dent in it. Now they're talking about peace because Donald Trump wants to do it, so they want to do it first, right? Which is fine. I don't care how the peace is achieved, if Donald Trump gets it done or if Friedrich Merz gets it done. I'm just saying I trust Donald Trump a bit more than I trust Friedrich Merz, right? And I think Friedrich Merz is a political snake, all right? And he's not doing this because it's the right thing to do. Doesn't matter, though. I don't care. My point is, no Taurus, no rockets, and do it. I don't care what your reasoning is. Make sure that peace is achieved in the Ukraine, right? And that's the best thing for your people, too. So that's a good thing Merz did there. Now, let's just see if they're going to continue to make these crazy demands. We'll see. We'll see. But it's awesome that they are going the route of diplomacy. Finally, the Europeans have either seen the light or been, had their arm twisted. But it's going in the right direction. So we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it ends up. And hopefully Putin and Zelensky do meet on Thursday. I don't think that I'm sure the Europeans would like to be there as well. Oh, they're going to hate it if Zelensky and Putin talk privately. They're not going to like that because they want to know everything and they want to be able to get their fingers in on every little thing and try to, move things to their advantage. But they shouldn't. Zelensky should not allow that. And I'm pretty sure Putin won't allow it if they suggest it. So if if the Europeans say, well, we're going to have to be at these talks as well, otherwise no deal, then Putin's probably not going to do it. So I hope they don't get stupid now. I hope they take this for a win, right? It's a win that Zelensky and Putin are now willing to talk to each other for the first time since the war started. It is a win. So take the fucking win and see what happens. Don't make stupid demands in between time. If you're already winning, if you're already ahead, there's no reason to do stupid shit and risk your lead. That's my message to these European leaders. We're going to see where it goes. All right, people, that's it for today. Go ahead and like, subscribe, share, do all the things to help me out with the algorithm. And we will see you on tomorrow's German Insanity Report. Peace till then.